7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Welcome to the 2025 NAIA Men's Basketball National Championship Selection Show. Get ready as we set the stage in the battle for the Red Banner. 64 teams have been selected into the championship field and will compete to be the last team remaining and be crowned champions. Action in the 87th annual NAIA Men's Basketball National Championship gets underway on March 14th at 16 sites around the country, with the winners advancing to the Municipal Auditorium in Kansas City, Missouri. The final site will be played starting on March 20th and conclude on March 25th, broadcast free on Urban Edge Network and the NAIA Network. Dreams of reaching the national championship field can be realized in two ways. Each conference determines who their automatic qualifiers are. Teams can earn their bid by becoming regular season or tournament champions, or by finishing as the runner-up in the regular season or conference tournament. Those conferences with 10 or more schools receive 2 bids into the field, while those with less than 10 institutions receive 1. The rest of the teams are determined by the NAIA Men's Basketball Selection Committee, comprised of NAIA head coaches and administrators from around the nation. Are you ready? The announcement of the first and second round brackets starts now. Let's get started in the Naismith quadrant with first and second round games played in Caldwell, Idaho, hosted by the College of Idaho. The number 1 seed will be the Yotes of the College of Idaho. The Yotes were the Cascade regular season champions with an overall mark of 29-2 with 27 total national championship appearances. They will face the number 16 seeded, the Bobcats of UC Merced. The Bobcats claimed an at-large berth out of the Cal Pac with an overall record of 20-6 and are making their first ever national championship appearance. The number 8 seed in the Naismith quadrant are the Falcons of Friends. The Falcons garnered an at-large berth out of the KCAC with an overall record of 23-7 and are making their first appearance in the tournament field since 2019. They will face the number 9 seeded Lions of Florida Memorial. The Lions gained an at-large berth into the tournament out of the Sun with an overall record of 23-7, and they rank 4th nationally in rebound margin per game at 10.6. Matchups will take place in Langston, Oklahoma, hosted by Langston. The number 4 seed will be the Lions of Langston. The Lions won the Sooner Tournament Championship with an overall record of 24-7 as they return to the field after playing in the championship game last season. They will match up against the number 13 seeded Spires of St. Mary. The Spires are the KCAC Tournament Champions with an overall record of 22-9 and are returning to the field for the first time since 2013. The number 5 seed in the Naismith quadrant are the Mustangs of Central Baptist. The Mustangs garnered an at-large bid out of the AMC with an overall record of 26-5 and are making their 6th tournament field appearance. They will face the number 12 seed, the Crusaders of William Carey. The Crusaders gained an at-large berth out of the Southern States with an overall mark of 19-10 and are making the field for the first time since 2019. The next matchups will be played in Huntington, Indiana, hosted by Huntington. The number 3 seed will be the Foresters of Huntington. The Foresters claimed an at-large berth out of the Crossroads with an overall record of 24-7 and are making their 12th national championship appearance. They will face the number 14 seeded Grey Wolves of Lourdes. The Grey Wolves earned an at-large berth out of the Wolverine Hoosier with an overall mark of 21-8 and are making their 6th tournament field appearance. The number 6 seed in the Naismith quadrant are the Red Raiders of Northwestern. The Red Raiders snagged an at-large berth out of the GPAC with an overall record of 25-5 as they rank 1st nationally in both field goal and 3-point shooting percentages. They will face the number 11 seed, the Yellow Jackets of Graceland. The Yellow Jackets earned a berth as the Hart regular season runner-up with an overall mark of 24-7 as they return to the tournament field for the first time since 2018. The next matchups will take place in Georgetown, Kentucky, hosted by Georgetown. The number 2 seed will be the Tigers of Georgetown. The Tigers gained an at-large berth out of the Mid-South with an overall record of 26-4 and have the most national championship appearances at 43. They will match up against the number 15 seed Pilots of LSU Shreveport. The Pilots claimed an at-large berth out of the Red River with an overall record of 18-11 as they rank 2nd nationally in 3-point shooting percentage with 40.5%. The number 7 seed in the Naismith quadrant are the Warriors of Lewis Clark State. The The Warriors garnered an at-large berth of the Cascade with an overall mark of 24-7 and will be making their 19th appearance in the tournament field. They will face the number 10 seed, the Cougars of St. Francis, Indiana. The Cougars earned an at-large bid out of the Crossroads with an overall mark of 17-12 and are making their 15th championship appearance in program history. Let's look at the Naismith quadrant one last time. Let's move to the Kramer quadrant with first and second round games played in Glendale, Arizona, hosted by Arizona Christian. The number 1 seed will be the Firestorm of Arizona Christian. The Firestorm won the GSAC Tournament Championship with an overall record of 26-4 as they currently rank 6th nationally in field goal percentage at 50.9% for the season. They will face the number 16 seeded Warriors of Westcliff. The Warriors are the CalPAC Tournament champions with an overall record of 14-8 and are making their second ever appearance in the national championship field. The number 8 seed in the Kramer quadrant are the Warriors of Indiana Tech. The Warriors are the Wolverine Hoosier regular season champions with an overall record of 23-7, and they rank first nationally with 32.3 defensive boards per game. They will face the number 9 seed, the Owls of Oregon Tech. The Owls were the Cascade regular season runner-up with an overall record of 22-7 and are one of 6 teams in the field with 3 red banners. The next matchup will take place in Williamsburg, Kentucky, hosted by Cumberlands. The number 4 seed will be the Patriots of Cumberlands. The Patriots grabbed an at-large bid out of the Mid-South with an overall mark of 22-8 as they rank 3rd nationally with 91.7 points per game. They will match up against the number 13 seeded Buffs of Milligan. The Buffs are the Appalachian Tournament champions with an overall record of 22-9 as they rank 6th nationally with a rebound margin per game of 9.4. The number 5 seed in the Kramer quadrant are the Rams of Mobile. The Rams claimed an at-large berth out of the Southern States with an overall record of 21-7 and are making their first appearance in the championship field after a 16-year hiatus. They will now face the number 12 seed, the Red Hawks of IU Northwest. The Red Hawks were the regular season runner-up in Chicagoland with an overall record of 22-7 as they ranked 8th nationally with a 50.4 field goal shooting percentage. The next matchup in the Kramer quadrant will be played in Dalton, Georgia, hosted by Dalton State. The number 6 seed will be the Roadrunners of Dalton State. The Roadrunners won the Southern States regular season title with an overall record of 24-6, and they rank 4th nationally with 5.3 blocks per game. They will face the number 11 seeded Pomeroys of St. Mary of the Woods. The Pomeroys were the regular season champions in the River States with an overall record of 26-5 as they rank 1st nationally with 43.5 total rebounds per game. The number 3 seed in the Kramer quadrant are the Gyrenes of Ave Maria. The Gyrenes are the Sun Conference champions with an overall mark of 24-6, and they rank 1st nationally in total points with 2,821 and points per game with 94.0 points per contest. They will face the number 14 seed, the Gold Rush of Xavier. The Gold Rush claimed the Red River Tournament crown with an overall record of 20-9 and is 5th nationally with 5.1 blocks per game. The next matchups will take place in Winona Lake, Indiana, hosted by Grace. The number 2 seed will be the Lancers of Grace. The Lancers claim the Crossroads regular season championship with an overall record of 26-5 as they rank 1st nationally with 19.4 assists per game. They will match up against the number 15 seeded Bruins of Carolina. The Bruins won the Continental Conference Tournament Championship with an overall record of 13-15 and are making their first ever NAIA Men's Basketball National Championship appearance. The number 7 seed in the Kramer quadrant are the Bears of Pikeville. The Bears earned the Appalachian Regular Season Championship with an overall mark of 24-6 and are making their 17th appearance in the national championship field. They will face the number 10 seed, the Fighting Saints of St. Francis, Illinois. The Fighting Saints earned an at-large berth out of the Chicagoland with an overall record of 17-12 as they make their 15th appearance in the national championship field. Here's one more look at the Kramer quadrant. Let's take a short break, and when we come back, we'll reveal the right side of the bracket right after this.
I told my dad from a young age that I wanted to play ball at the highest level. He told me that hard work and consistency would get me there, and that he had a plan to help measure and track my progress. What I found is that the journey is the dream. With the help of the best coaches in America, my father and I launched an app that gives you a plan to become the best that you can be.
Welcome back. Moving on to the Dewar Quadrant with the first and second round games played in Henderson, Tennessee, hosted by Freed-Hardeman. The number 1 seed will be the Lions of Freed-Hardeman. The Lions are the Mid-South Tournament champions with an overall mark of 26-5 and are making the national championship field for the 4th straight year. They will face the number 16 seeded Grenadiers of IU Southeast. The Grenadiers were the River State Tournament runner-up with an overall record of 13-17 and are making their 15th championship appearance in program history. The number 8 seed in the Dewar Quadrant are the Golden Eagles of Cornerstone. The Golden Eagles enter the field as the tournament champions of the Wolverine Hoosier with an overall record of 22-9, and they rank 4th nationally with 30 defensive rebounds per game. They will face the number 9 seed, the Cougars of Spring Arbor. The Cougars grabbed an at-large berth out of the Crossroads with an overall record of 19-10 and are making their first appearance since 2020. The next matchups will take place in Marion, Indiana, hosted by Indiana Wesleyan. The number 5 seed in the Dewar Quadrant are the Wildcats of Indiana Wesleyan. The Wildcats claimed an at-large berth out of the Crossroads with an overall mark of 21-9 and are one of 6 teams in the field with 3 red banners. They will face the number 12 seed, the Crusaders of Madonna. The Crusaders enter the tournament field with an at-large berth out of the Wolverine Hoosier with an overall record of 19-11 and are making their 6th tournament field appearance. The number 4 seed will be the Running Eagles of Life. The Running Eagles are the Southern States Tournament champions with an overall record of 25-6 and are one of 6 teams in the field with 3 red banners. They will match up against the number 13 seeded, the Royals of Johnson. The Royals gained an at-large berth out of the Appalachian with an overall mark of 20-10 and are making their first ever national championship appearance. The next matchup in the Dewar Quadrant will be played in Santa Clara, California, hosted by the Masters. The number 3 seed will be the Mustangs of the Masters. The Mustangs earned an at-large berth out of the GSAC with an overall mark of 25-5 and are ranked 4th nationally with 29.5 three-point attempts per game. They will face the number 14 seeded Tigers of Dakota Wesleyan. The Tigers gained an at-large berth out of the GPAC with an overall record of 20-9 as they return to the tournament field for the first time since 2020. The number 6 seed in the Dewar Quadrant are the Ora Diggers of Montana Tech. The Ora Diggers are the Frontier Conference Tournament champions with an overall record of 24-6 and are 4th nationally with 62 points allowed per game. They will face the number 11 seed, the Raiders of Southern Oregon. The Raiders earned an at-large berth out of the Cascade with an overall mark of 20-10 and will be making their 12th appearance in the field. The next matchups will take place in West Palm Beach, Florida, hosted by Kaiser. The number 7 seed in the Dewar Quadrant are the Seahawks of Kaiser. The Seahawks earned an at-large berth out of the Sun with an overall record of 24-5 as they ranked 2nd nationally with 14.3 offensive rebounds per game. They will face the number 10 seed, the Eagles of Faulkner. The Eagles earned an at-large berth out of the Southern States with an overall mark of 20-9 and are making the tournament field for the 15th time in program history. The number 2 seed will be the Owls of William Woods. The Owls are the AMC Tournament champions with an overall record of 28-2 and are making their first ever national championship appearance. They will match up against the number 15 seeded Blue Devils of Dillard. The Blue Devils won the HBCU Athletic Conference Tournament championship with an overall record of 19-11 and will be making their 8th national championship appearance and their first trip since 2018. Here's a look at all the teams in the Dewar Quadrant. Just 16 teams remain as we move to the Liston Quadrant as we take a look at the first host site of the first and second rounds played in Alexandria, Louisiana, hosted by LSU Alexandria. The number 1 seed will be the Generals of LSU Alexandria. The Generals claim the Red River regular season championship with an overall record of 28-2 as they rank 1st nationally with 15.2 offensive rebounds per game. They will face the number 16 seeded Tigers of Stillman. The Tigers are the HBCU Conference regular season champions with an overall mark of 18-11 and are making their 5th appearance in the national championship field after a 3-year hiatus. The number 8 seed in the listing quadrant are the Lions of Nelson. The Lions claim the Sooner regular season title with an overall record of 23-8 and will be making their 12th appearance in the national championship field. They will face the number 9 seeded Knights of Middle Georgia State. The Knights grabbed an at-large berth out of the Southern States with an overall mark of 19-8 and are making their first ever national championship field appearance. The next matchups will take place in Mishawaka, Indiana, hosted by Bethel. The number 4 seed will be the Pilots of Bethel University in Indiana. The Wildcats were the regular season runner-ups with an overall record of 22-8 and are one of 6 teams in the field with 3 red banners. They will match up against the number 13 seeded Bobcats of Peru State. The Bobcats claimed an at-large berth out of the Heart with an overall record of 22-8 and are making their 21st national championship appearance in program history. The number 5 seed in the listing quadrant are the Mustangs of Morningside. The Mustangs earned the GPAC Tournament Championship with an overall mark of 24-7, and they rank 3rd nationally in three-point shooting with a percentage of 40. They will face the number 12 seed, the Royals of Hope International. The Royals grabbed an at-large berth out of the GSAC with an overall record of 22-7 and are in the championship field for the 11th time. The next matchups in the listing quadrant will be played in Baldwin City, Kansas, hosted by Baker. The number 3 seed will be the Wildcats of Baker. The Wildcats claim the Hart regular season championship with an overall record of 28-3 and are ranked 5th nationally with 29.3 defensive boards per game. They will face the number 14 seeded Rams of Texas Wesleyan. The Rams claimed an at-large berth out of the Sooner with an overall mark of 19-10 as they return to the tournament field for the 19th time. The number 6 seed in the listing quadrant are the Bulldogs of Concordia. The Bulldogs earned an at-large berth out of the GPAC with an overall record of 25-6, and they rank 3rd nationally with 18.4 assists per game. They will face the number 11 seed, the Threshers of Bethel College in Kansas. The Threshers earned an at-large berth out of the KCAC with an overall mark of 22-9 and are making their 5th appearance in the tournament field. The final matchups will take place in Sioux Center, Iowa, hosted by Dort. The number 2 seed will be the Defenders of Dort. The Defenders claim the GPAC regular season title with an overall record of 27-3 as they rank 2nd nationally with 34.2 field goals made per game. They will match up against the number 15 seeded Blue Hawks of Dickinson State. The Blue Hawks earned the North Star Tournament Championship with an overall mark of 19-10 as they return to the national championship for the first time since 2004. The number 7 seed in the listing quadrant are the Eagles of Oklahoma Wesleyan. The Eagles are the KCAC regular season champions with an overall mark of 23-7, and they will be making their 13th appearance in the national championship field. They will face the number 10 seed, the Evangels of Mid-America Christian. The Evangels gained an at-large berth out of the Sooner with an overall mark of 22-8 and will be making their 8th appearance in the championship field. Let's take one last look at the teams in the listing quadrant. Thanks for watching and good luck to our qualifiers. The battle for the red banner begins now.